Oh, by the way, as you do know probably now that I did get to spend some time with Ricky Steamboat recently, which was really cool.
How cool is that, man? You guys had a little promotion going for HBO Max.
Hmm.
Had Daniel Garcia and Brian Danielson, and had the
Hmm.
actual Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
Hmm.
That was cool stuff, man.
Yeah, it was great. It was great reconnecting with Ricky. Just he and I, he and I have had some long talks on the phone and had some long talks in person, which is really uh, great to catch up with him. And he asked me, and this is a story that I've never told, but I think it's worth telling right now. Obviously, I know we're going to go to a break. I'll
No, go
tell
ahead
it
and tell
after.
your story. No, we'll do it after the break.
Okay.
I mean, we'll do the break later. But you're on a roll, and we see Eddie Guerrero here after Chris Benoit has not Chris Benoit, Chris Jericho has pinned him. He just draped the cruiserweight title over his ribs and then climbed up top and did a frog splash on top of it. Jericho's
Hmm.
hurting for certain.
Hmm.
Nice showing here. Even though Eddie doesn't get the win, he
Hmm.
certainly, quote unquote, got his heat back.
Got his heat back, and it was a pretty darn good finish. Little roll up, as we said. They and Valvoline. People who know use Valvoline.
Not a sponsor of our program, so fuck them. Now, anyway, you had a great conversation. I knew you like that. You had a good conversation with Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
Yes, I did. So he asked. We were talking about the first thing I ever did in wrestling, and I said, "Well, I wasn't in wrestling." I said, "But back in 1978." I was in college and I was working for a radio station, WTON in Stanton, which is the where I got my first job out of college. And I said they want the wrestling was at the Augusta Expo, and the guy, one of our program directors said, "Hey, you're a wrestling fan, aren't you?" I went, "Yeah." He said, "Well, do you plan to go to the wrestling show?" I went, "Yeah." He said, "Why don't you try to do an interview with somebody?" I said, "Okay." I interviewed Ricky Steamboat.
Really?
Yeah. And it was for the radio station. I didn't work in wrestling, but that was my first time really interviewing a wrestler. So I told him that story.
What did he
And
think?
he said, "Are you serious?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "That's it." I said, "1978." He said, "Wow, man." He said, "We were doing a lot of work back then, a lot of different towns, a lot of different things going on." I said, "Yeah, you really were." I said, "I know you don't remember it." He said, "No, I don't." He said, "But I remember going to spot shows up in Virginia." I said, "Yep, that's what I said." So my first thing that I ever did, first wrestling interview I ever did on TV was Ric Flair, but my unofficial one was an employee of a radio station interviewing Ricky Steamboat in 1978. And
Wow.
that night, Peter Apostolou, who was the promoter for Jim Crockett Promotions in the Shenandoah Valley, Peter Apostolou and I were talking, and he was very good to me. He allowed me in the back, and I got to, I mean, he didn't let me back in the dressing room, but he brought Steamboat out and we were watching matches. He let me stand back there watching matches with him from afar. And I said, "You know what? I love pro wrestling. Tell me how I can get into it." It sounded like probably hundreds of people that you hear now, right?
Yeah.
And he kind of like says, "Well, you just keep doing what you're doing, being an announcer. You never know. Something may break. There's nothing I can tell you that's going to get you into wrestling." And damn it, it all worked out, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it did.
And I'm thinking about standing back there, interviewing Steamboat, talking to Peter Apostolou, thinking, I don't want to use this term, but look at me now.
Yeah.
But just amazing. And I think about a lot of kids out there, a lot of young men, young women who want to get into the wrestling business, and they ask me, "How do I get into wrestling?" And it's a very difficult thing to answer.
Yeah.
It really is. And the only thing I can say it to them is this: just try to find an independent promotion, work for them. You're probably going to have to work for free, and that's okay because I worked for free a lot. Um, I mean, the time that I took that night going driving to the Augusta Expo from where I lived in Craigsville, and I was going to college that at the time. I probably hitchhiked home that night to get my mom's car to drive to wrestling. I didn't get paid for that.
Right.
We spent money on gas or whatever. I probably paid for my own ticket to get in. So I'm saying that the best thing I can tell you if you want to get into wrestling is try the independent circuit, and you probably have to work for free, but that's okay if you got the desire and you got the work ethic, and something may break for you. You never know.
I mean, let me say this too. There's not a college of pro wrestling.
No,
And so if you were going to college, would you expect to get paid to go to college?
no,
No, in fact, you're paying to go.
right.
And so if you're a pro wrestler, guess what? You're going to have to pay someone to train you.
That's right.
And if you don't necessarily want to be a pro wrestler, but you want to be involved in the business, you're going to have to bring value.
Yeah,
And when you find a way, and this isn't just for wrestling, this is for any industry. When you find a way to bring value, people will find a spot for you.
right.
But if you take the approach to life of, hey, give me a raise and I'll start showing up on time.
Oh yeah.
Hey, give me make me the manager and I'll start going the extra mile.
Mm-hmm.
That's not going to work.
Nope.
You've got to bring value. And if you lead all the relationships in your life with, hey, I brought some value here, then before you know it, you'll be irreplaceable and they got to have you. And oh, by the way, now you're going to get paid probably more than you imagined the first time because you approached it from a value first. I mean, that's just the key to life to me.
Yeah.
Find a way to bring value. And if you're not sure if you are, you're not.
It goes
to let's have a job.
It goes back to my favorite quote. I think I've told you this quote here before. My favorite quote of all time is from Albert Einstein. And it says, try not to be a man of success, try to be a man of value.
Yeah.
It's one of the great quotes of all time.
Agree.
And yeah, nothing beats a work ethic. Don't give a shit. And the work ethic in this country has declined. Holy shit, has it declined? And you know what? That's good for those of us who have a work ethic.
Great for me and you, Bubba.
Yeah, you're not kidding.
I mean, as we're recording this, it's 7 a.m. on a weekend.
There you go.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Neither one of us have to do this. This isn't something that if you and I stop doing the podcast tomorrow, it doesn't affect our lives. Really.
That's right. That's right.
But we do it because we love it and because we enjoy it and because we like the relationship we've built with the audience. And along the way, sure, we make a couple of bucks, but that's never been the primary motivator for me to do podcasts. And certainly at this point in your life will be easier without podcasts, but we're having too much fun. And so are these guys right now. We got Psychosis, Volano number 4 and 5 teaming with Silver King to take on Juventud, Hector Garza, Lismark Jr., and Super Callow. And unfortunately, even an 8-man match here only gets 4 minutes and 52 seconds.
They are pulling out all the stops.
Yes, they are.
And look at Juventud. And the fans really have not been reacting to most of the stuff in the ring, but they're reacting to this stunt show we're seeing right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's one tope suicida after another. By the way, I want to give a shout out. I don't even know that. Oh, look at this corkscrew. Hector was known for this. That's the big spot of the day right there.
That's a tornillo. Thank you very much.
Okay. Cool.
Today called it a corkscrew plancha, and Excalibur calls it a tornillo.
Well, that's probably the Spanish version.
Probably.
Anyway, I wanted to mention something that maybe you didn't even know. Do you know about Triple Mania in October?
Triple Mania? I do not.
Triple Mania 30. It's like the AAA version of WrestleMania, and it's in Mexico City. And I just saw the other day, Volano number 4, who was in this match, who is now a bona fide legend. He's going to be taking on your man, Pentagon Jr., in a mask versus mask match.
Wow.
So the masks are on the line. So we might see Pentagon Jr. unmasked by mid-October. And if not, it'll be Volano number 4.
Wow.
That's pretty cool to hear about guys like that having mask matches. Because, I mean, listen, I'm admittedly not like the world's foremost expert on Lucha Libre, but I know mask matches are a big fucking deal. A lot bigger deal than this stupid shit.
Yeah, where I can see behind me, there's a sign. And let me ask you, what are you cooking up there? Is that horse shit? Huh? Is that okay? So let me ask you about dinner and movie. You guys have dinner, and then you watch a movie, and then you shit all this stuff out later on. Right over there, we got X-Lax. X-Lax. That's right, X-Lax, and we're going to put in it. Well, let me read my card here. Whoa, I'm going to stick something in here, and I'm going to stick something in here. We got macho mayo, macho nachos, and we've got macho lettuce. Okay, very cool. And just to make things even more spectacular, we've got macho bullshit. That's right. We're all going to eat macho bullshit. Look at that right there. What is that?
He's got his own little flag here.
Yeah, no, that's
just for Diamond Dallas.
What are we?
Gentlemen, here, in all due respect, your guests on this program, and we represent World Championship Wrestling. It's a great organization, and this is kind of a slap in the face.
Well, Gene, I guess there's a little theme here.